Powered by the Montana Television Network. This is the Noon News from Montana's news leader.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us on your MTN Statewide News. I'm Jeanelle Slade. A missing and endangered person advisory has been issued for a Missoula teenager. The Missoula Police Department is looking for 17-year-old Franklin Valenzuela, last seen in Missoula last night. Now, Franklin left a goodbye video discussing his death and sent messages to friends, according to the advisory. He left his cell phone behind. If you have any information about Franklin, please contact the Missoula Police Department or call 911. Well, the state of Montana has hired a new missing persons specialist. Brian Frost will replace Misty LaPlante, who resigned last month. Frost has spent more than 3 years working on the State Criminal Justice Information Network and Missing Persons Clearinghouse. He says he wants to keep educating the public about the support that's available in missing persons cases.
One of the things I really want to do is dispel that myth of we have a waiting period to report your loved one missing. And for us, you're going to talk to your friends, your family. You're going to try to find that loved one before you call law enforcement. And that's all perfectly reasonable. But just remember that there is no waiting period and that people should call right away if a loved one is missing.
Frost wants to remind people law enforcement is still treating missing persons cases the same despite COVID-19 restrictions. He says there's been a number of missing youth reported in recent weeks, but many have been found safely. Well, our weather has shifted a bit from yesterday's high temperatures with some much needed rain. Good afternoon, Ed.
Good afternoon, Jeanelle. You're right. We're starting to see at least some rain showers. Today's sort of a transition day. We're still holding on to a lot of the warm, but this upper level system is starting to move in from the Pacific Northwest. So the jet stream you see in the blue arrows is starting to push some of those rain showers across the state. They're pretty scattered right now. Even a little bit of higher elevation snow is starting to develop. But through southern Idaho and southwest Montana, we've also highlighted areas where we're starting to see some lightning strikes. You can see quite a few of those around Bozeman up towards Missoula as well. And that's going to influence the weather as we start getting into the afternoon. We'll take a closer look at that and what's beyond with the complete forecast coming up in a few minutes.
All right, thanks so much, Ed. Well, Helena will now postpone a number of public works projects in the coming year to account for millions of dollars in funding the city wasn't able to secure. The Helena City Commission discussed the issue yesterday at an administrative meeting. Leaders say the city was expected to take out an additional $18 million in loans over the last 2 years. Because the financing did not come through, the city's water, stormwater, wastewater, and street funds are depleted. Leaders say the issue arose because of staff turnover and department reorganization. Helena's Public Works and Finance directors both left their positions last year, and the Public Works Department was split into 2 departments.
There weren't a lot of controls in place to make sure that the right people were informed at the right time to get all these loans initiated.
City leaders say they work to delay only projects that aren't needed for public safety. Plus, they say they've added new safeguards to make sure multiple people are involved in securing financing in the future. Well, Montana adds 2 new COVID-19 cases, bringing the total confirmed cases to 453 this afternoon. The latest positive cases include the first case in Fergus County and the 8th case in Park County. The number of recoveries is also rising. Now, currently, the state reports 61 people with active coronavirus and just 5 are in the hospital. Now, we did just get word that the case in Ferguson County involves someone who's been a resident there but is not living there at this time. So Montana still counts that as a Fergus County individual, but that individual is not there. And family members of the first Gallatin County victim to die are now telling his story. Bill O'Connor, a longtime elementary school teacher in Livingston who had since moved to Bozeman, died Monday morning after battling that virus for 3 weeks. Family members also tell MTN News that O'Connor's wife, Donna, had recently recovered from the virus. O'Connor taught for 30 years and still helped from time to time as the school's maintenance person. In just days, a GoFundMe page set up for O'Connor's wife and family has raised more than $13,000. Well, Governor Steve Bullock says the state will be able to drastically increase coronavirus testing as early as next month. The federal government is providing states with nearly 13 million swabs, and Bullock says his goal is 60,000 tests per month. The governor wants to focus testing on the state's most vulnerable populations, specifically the elderly and their caregivers. He hopes to avoid another situation like the one in Shelby at the assisted living facility, which saw a third of Montana's COVID-19 deaths. Now, Bullock also calling for additional testing in tribal communities, and he wants tests for anyone with symptoms that fall under the CDC's new expanded list that you can see there on your screen. Well, in Wyoming, Governor Mark Gordon says he will extend his order requiring visitors to the Cowboy State to quarantine for 14 days. Now, that order was supposed to expire today, but it will now remain in place until May 8th. Wyoming reported 8 new coronavirus cases yesterday. One of those positive results was in Bighorn County. Now, the total number of cases since the beginning of the pandemic now sits at 404 in Wyoming. However, just 33 people are currently infected with the virus in the state. The coronavirus has claimed another Big Butte celebration this summer. The city has postponed its 3rd of July fireworks display. Town Pump sponsors the annual display and says it will still go on sometime later this year. That date has not yet been decided.
We're working with the health department, and we're also working with the Chamber of Commerce and other civic organizations to help set a new date when it would be safe for people to gather and when we can kind of have a little bit of a victory rally over all of this.
And Town Pump expects the new date to fall sometime in late summer or early fall. Well, Eagle Mount out of Great Falls is on its phase 1 of reopening its summer programs. Now, this includes taking horses to nursing and assisted living homes for distance viewing. The idea is to bring smiles to senior living residents who don't get out much. They will have a horse and a mini horse dressed in cowboy hats and bandanas. Now, seeing the horses stirs up some nice memories for the folks.
You know, we've got a lot of people who have either they're ranchers or they've had horses or they just love animals. And so, a couple of them are talking about their dads and how they used to ride horses when they were kids with their dads. And it brings a lot of wonderful memories back, and it's just a wonderful talking point for them.
Now, the next Great Falls visit is around 1 o'clock today at Beehive Homes. Well, still ahead on your new news on this Thursday, find out why a Billings principal spent the night stuck on a roof. The time now is 12:07, but first, Ed's up next with the statewide weather forecast.